let's start on the macro level. Like, was there ever a lull? And then we'll get a little bit more finite, because the people listening that, are especially people, there's going to be a lot of people listening that love running, and they're going to get it. And they've done a half, or they've done a full maybe. So this stuff is going to be so interesting. But from a macro level, do you ever take time off in the year when you were competing?
I'm going to tell you this. When you run a marathon, the next day is a forceful time out. So, I hate to break it to you, but, for us, it's you train so intensely, and when you run a marathon, your quads will be sore and you're going to be in pain. And then it's a forced time out, and For me, I take about a week off, maybe 2 weeks off. Depends how I recover, and then gradually just start walking, but make sure you stretch and things like that. But yeah, it's not a season, say like football, basketball season over and get them out. It's like spring marathon, fall marathon, and a lot of races in between. So the only time you take time off is after the marathon, because you definitely need it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Okay, good. That's good to know. I'm literally thinking to myself, make sure you take a week off after. If Meb takes a week off after, I should take a week off after, because my mind would probably tell me like 4 or 5 days later, I should probably do like a flush run or something. Like I should probably just kind of run like 3 or 4 miles and just real easy, but I'm taking a week off thanks to you. So then what was the actual amount of time that was condensed down to specifically for the marathon? And I know it's a little tough, because like a lot of people will just do a random marathon, and they need a lot more training to prepare for that one. So you have kind of an all year sort of conditioning, but when you're getting that last little bit specifically for a marathon, how long does that last for you?
The marathon training?
Yeah, like right at the end, because you're always training for a marathon, right? Not always, but
right. I mean, people often says you need 16 weeks to train for a marathon, or 14 weeks of training for a marathon. It all depends on the condition of the person, and somebody can pull it out in 8 weeks. Some people can pull it out in 6 weeks. It depends what their previous fitness was. If somebody's starting from scratch, and then hey, let's walk around and whatnot, and you could use the 12 to 16 weeks, but I think for me, since I've always been fit since collegiate years and professional, and the least amount I have done is 8 weeks. And, I was injured, recovered from the injury. And then, you don't lose much in terms of fitness, but mentally you lose a lot, because you're not day in, day out, or weekly, you're not doing the exercise. So you have uncertainty. Can I make it? Or am I be able to make it? But if you let the fitness come to you, great things happen, positive thinking. Whereas if he says, I only got 8 weeks and panic attack, I got to run my long run next week. No, you don't need to do that. Let the long run be the celebration of 26.2 miles. Now, how do you get, whether you're doing 5 miles, 6 miles, 12 miles, 13 miles, accumulation of running, get into that race day without being setbacks or without being injured, is going to be okay. But if he says, you know what, I got to get 5 weeks out, I got to do my 20-mile run, and you're only doing 6-7 miles, you mentally defeating yourself already, because you have this perception. Mm-hmm. But if he says, hey, I just got to be smart, my previous conditions, whether I've done marathons or half marathon, will carry me through this race. I just got to be healthy and be mind focused and look at that date, that ultimate date of the marathon, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. What were some of the collection of modalities that you would use to stay sharp? I know you talk about strength training and stretching and all kinds of things like that. Like last night, I was laughing as I'm like, researching and listening to you talk about things. And you were talking about doing stretching after a run for a while. And I'm like laughing to my friend her and I ran 16 miles. And I was like, we're not stretching, Aaron. Like we should Meb stretches afterwards. We're not even stretching. We're just putting ourselves in these Therabody boots. So what are the things that you do that you would really attribute to being like the foundation of your ability to keep going?
There was a great coach from UCLA, John Wooden. He says, it's not what you do in practice in 2 hours, but how you take care of yourself. So the 16 miles training is checklist Danica, but hydration is important. Normatec or complex electronics. If you feel something, you rather just take care of it. Prehab instead of rehab, because you don't want to wait until you get injured. So you have to think about those small things that says, hey, I'm in sync with this. 16 miles, I felt great. Now, how can I recover? And whether it's tomorrow or then 2 days, I can get a little bit running. So you have to do, I use personally Generation You Can. As soon as I finish my hard workout, whether it's long run, intervals, or tempo, I have a packet of You Can with a 10 ounce of water. That immediately is helping you recover. And then obviously the stretching is important. Not many people do this, but it's 5 minutes of your stretching. That allows you not to get injured, but also helps you recover for tomorrow, for next day, for next week. But if you just say, hey, we got done 60-mile run, let's just get on the car and go, you already got intense a little bit, your hamstring is tight, your calves are tight, your Achilles is tight, then you're prone for injury. So the stretching is not 10, 15, 20 minutes, about 5 minutes of stretching the core muscles that would help you.
Which ones are the core? Like, which ones are those? I mean, for
the quads,
like,
the
tell
quads,
me the ones you do.
The quads, the hamstring, the calf, the Achilles, and the adductor and adductor. And those are the essentials. Some people stretch their hands is fine, but the one that's going to carry through 26.2 miles are the legs. So, and the glutes are very important. You want to be able to just, because you've been using the same muscle for 16 miles, the same pace, you want to change it up a little bit. Stretching is, when you're watching TV or you're hanging out, comfortable with your friends or family members, it's okay to get on the carpet and do a little bit of stretching, because you get ready for 26.2 miles at the Boston Marathon. There's an excuse for it. So it's